Hey everyone, this is Andy Nguyen. I wanted to make a quick little introduction for the Millennial Up Podcast today. Today I sit down with Jaffer, one of my good friends from the civil engineering community, and he's always impressed me with his ability to get people together, his ability to inspire people, and just how well-rounded of a person he is. He tells me a lot about his history in graphic design and other artistic ventures, and he tells me how he's been able to incorporate it into his career today, and it's just a wonderful story to hear. I just want to make a quick little disclaimer. We were recording in a less than ideal scenario, so you'll be hearing a little bit of air hockey in the background. Please disregard that. It gets a little bit more dull later in the podcast, so please stick around and enjoy the show. Thank you. Hi everyone, this is Andy Nguyen of the Millennial Podcast. Today I have a guest, Jaffer. How do you say your last name, man?
Almosawy.
Yeah. What's up, Jaffer?
It's all good.
So today we're gonna talk about how back when you're little, you would do some creative stuff. Maybe go on. You said you went on Photoshop and you learned a few things. I tried to make like a website. All these little things that I did for fun, I would Google up how to do. But I never found it as a feasible way of making money or a feasible like career path. So I was like, all right, I'll just kind of pocket these things and focus on the main thing, which with my parents was like be an engineer, get a salary, get a real job. And there was no real job doing Photoshop, making a website, making graphics, doing photos, videos, none of that back then. So I want to hear about your story about how you did all that when you were younger and what you're doing now in your career. That kind of like mixes it a little bit.
Okay. Well, I mean, so it started back in like in high school, everybody gets electives. You know, a lot of the old school electives are like, you know, home ec or like auto shop. And I was looking forward to do auto shop. But my parents were like, no, you need to choose something else.
They didn't want you to do auto shop?
No, I don't know why.
All right.
I still regret it to this day.
Yeah, because it's probably saved a lot of money.
I watch a lot of YouTube, and yes, I spent a lot of money. But a couple of the electives I had were options. So my high school has a college, like a community college that's attached to it, and you can take electives there for college credit. So I chose two, and two of them was it was AutoCAD and graphic design and animations. Those are the two ones I chose, and obviously the CAD kind of, you know, surfaced all the way into my career now. But, you know, I always enjoyed the graphic side, and that's kind of where I got introduced to Photoshop, Illustrator, and back in the days when like MySpace was going, like I used to make backgrounds for everybody. I had a whole request section on my MySpace and told people to, give me what they want, and I designed a background for them and give them an HTML code and paste it right into their profile.
Were you hustling them? Were you making some money off of that?
No.
Oh, doing it out of the good of your heart.
I never cared about money. Like
Okay.
I enjoyed doing it, so it was fun. So, I mean, the only time I ever hustled anybody for money is for burning CDs.
Oh, well, what was it for, like music? Or?
Yeah, music and stuff.
Oh, okay, I did that with video games.
Oh,
because I kept begging my parents, like, I need faster internet. I need to play like StarCraft or whatever. But back then, it was like MMOs were pretty big. Mm-hmm. So there was World of Warcraft, but there was these cheaper like Chinese ones. But it's just hack and slash games where it was like cool graphics. But the file size is so big that it would take people like hours to download, and their parents didn't let them like leave the computer on overnight, but mine did. So I would just download it, make all these copies of CDs, get them hype on the game first, and then sell them a CD for like 25 cents, 50 cents a pop in like fourth grade.
Yeah.
That was so much money because, you know, like 2 sales, that's a bag of chips right there.
That's exactly what I got it for. So I sold CDs, music CDs, and so I was in marching band back in there. I used to play like drums and stuff. So I was really big in drumline, and there's like certain cadences that I really enjoyed. And I found this little short one. It was like a 30-second cadence, and I used it as my signature. So every CD that somebody bought from me, it started off with a drum cadence.
Oh.
And that was when I first kind of started marketing myself a little bit. But I made it like $5 a CD.
That's big money. What year were you in school?
For high school?
That was in high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back in high school. That was a long time ago for me.
But these days we're engineers now. We're not doing that anymore. We're not hustling, selling things on not the street, but it's like the hallways. So now that we've gotten to the point where we're doing engineer careers, I do land development. What specifically in engineering do you do?
I do water, wastewater, specifically like more hydraulic modeling and stuff like that.
Okay. So there's hydraulic modeling, right? We were talking about this earlier. You make sure you know where the poop. You make sure the poop goes where it needs to go.
Exactly.
Is there another phrase for hydraulic modeling that's specifically for the sanitary?
For sanitary?
Yeah.
That's more like sewer capacity studies or modeling, sewer modeling, basic stuff.
And you're lucky that you found those high school courses or those college courses for Photoshop and CAD.
Yeah.
How old were you then? You introduced to those?
How old was I?
Yeah, it was high school?
Yeah, it was high school. It was like sophomore, junior year. It was my junior, senior years in high school. So about 2005, 2006, which is almost 15 years ago.
I'm sure that helped like figuring out your major, right? You got experience in different things, or maybe not.
For college, like I didn't know what I wanted to do. I grew up, always thinking I was going to be put into the medical field. But when I realized I didn't like blood and I thought I was good at math, so I was like, let's see what engineering is. And honestly, all I thought engineering was that you go into an office and you just draw things all day. That's all I thought.
By hand or on a computer?
On the computer. Because that's what I was learning. And the whole class for 2 years was, here's this drawing, copy it. On the computer.
That's like an art class.
Yeah.
On a computer.
Yeah, and but I was doing like blueprints for houses, replicating structural designs and stuff like that, and doing all these different annotations. So I thought that if I could do a career in that, awesome. So that's how I chose civil.
Okay.
But I didn't know how much work goes into it and how much more it is.
Yeah. I remember growing up thinking that if I got like an office job, I would be home at the same time every day. Like I had an uncle, he had an office job. He would be home around 5 or 6 every day. I'm like, I don't want to be working all day. I don't want to be thinking about work nonstop. Let's go get an office job and be cush and just be able to go home. I quickly realized that the more you want to grow in your career and how much you want to help, how much you want to see your career grow or develop, you have to put in a little bit more time. Yeah. Which kind of sucks because I thought my original plan, for me, I got into photography in high school. And my original plan was I'm going to work my full-time job. And then when I get home, I'll be a photographer. So on nights and weekends, I'll just be a photographer. In high school, of course, you want to be like the photographer that shoots girls on the beach. It's like a dream of some pre-adolescent high school boy with hormones raging. But I knew that there were different fields that you can do. So I saw wedding photography. I saw like commercial photography. I was like, maybe I can do that. But once after I got through college, which is hard enough by itself, like putting in so many hours, just nonstop. Wake up, go to school. After you go to school, you either have your part-time job and or study all night. Yep. And after I got to that, I was like, oh, finally, now I can have a schedule, right? I know when I'm going to go to work. I know when I'm going to go home. And the going home part, it's never guaranteed. It's never stable. And it sucks because I don't have time to do what I originally planned when I was growing up. Like, I was going to be a photographer on the side. And for me to do it, I have to give up a lot of sleep. Yep. And I wish that there was a more feasible way to kind of like intertwine them. Because some people can. Like my fiance, she's a graphic design marketer. Like she does creative stuff for Lazy Dog Corporate. Okay. So she can take photos sometimes, and she does like the Photoshop stuff, and she does their branding stuff, and that is the creative, the photo, and marketing all in one place. I'm like, I wish I could do that, but the way my brain's set up is like there's like a left side, right side of the brain, right? There's like a creative side that wants to try different things, take risks, and create something beautiful to look at. And then there's a logical side which really enjoys engineering, and it's really hard to mix those two. But you were telling me that you've been able to at least mix it a little bit. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah. So at my job, I work for this company called GCW. It's a really local firm in Vegas. When I first started there as an intern, I really didn't know what I wanted to do or what I liked. But anytime I go work anywhere, I try to make friends with everybody, especially some key people. Like You always got to make friends with your marketing person. You know, whoever gives out, you know, all the free swag, you know, because, you know, they're going to hook you up at some point. And you always make friends with the people who, you know, fix the building, or IT people, so know that they'd always help you. So I focus on a lot of those relationships, and our marketing guy was doing social media and getting everything started. But then he was leaving for another job and he needed help. So he brought me on to help him with social media, because he knows I do it for a lot of like professional organizations like ASCE. I kind of run my own social media like a lot. I post all the time, and I had an interest in that. So he brought me on to kind of help him and get into that. And after he left, it was mainly me running the whole, you know, social media marketing, and that kind of started filling my creative side. So that's kind of how I got introduced into it. And, you know, it's been 4 or 5 years now, and I'm not necessarily running it anymore, because we have a new marketing person that's kind of taking the lead, but I'm still like very heavily involved in providing ideas, to helping take pictures or create graphics, just because, you know, putting stuff out there, like when you're marketing for a company, like a boring picture can only go so far. So, you know, adding some color to it, or, you know, making it look better, I've always enjoyed that since my MySpace days. So, you know, being able to do that and like still have my regular day job, and like still, you know, get all my work done, and it's kind of rewarding, because it feeds that creative side of myself. And now it's kind of branching out to like even more video. You know, I'm able to try and experiment with videos. And see if they'll kind of be more interested in continuing that, you know, even if it's not through me, you know, kind of helping provide those segues for them to explore.
And it's nice just to provide input and they actually listen, right?
Yes.
I think that's just something that people just want, like to have some kind of impact. Like people say millennials are entitled, right? They want to have impact right away. I'm like, no, we just don't want to be treated as just someone that's working through the system, just another number. We want to actually provide and help. Like, we want to work harder, as long as it's going somewhere.
Yeah. And, you know, it's interesting you say that, because that's true for a lot of millennials, but I think what they forget is, like, as much as they say that they want to help and they want to contribute, a lot of them won't even ask. You know, and that's kind of how it got where I'm at my company, is that I was willing to ask, like, hey, can I get involved with this? Is this okay for me to do? Would you be interested in doing this? And it's not always going to be a yes, but, like, you know, it shows them that you're interested and you want to contribute, you know? So
the eagerness to do more.
Yeah.
It speaks volumes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that if more people did that today, I think they'd be a lot happier in their jobs.
Yeah. What's that quote from The Office? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a stupid. That scene is stupid. The way he laid out the quote was stupid, but it's so true. Like, a lot of the things that I've been able to achieve in social media and doing this photo video stuff is just because I've asked.
Yep.
I would DM people cold. I remember how I started doing wedding photography. I literally just searched up wedding photography in Garden Grove. I just went down the list and I asked every single person, I'm like, hey, can I shadow you? Hey, can I shadow you? Hey, can I shadow you? A lot of them said no. A lot of them tried to charge me. I was like, how are you going to charge someone that's like 17 years old just trying to like start? I have no money. I'm trying to learn how to do this so I can make some money. But then after like 20 or 30 or so rejections, someone actually said, hey, let's meet up. And then I talked and I was able to just show that I was eager to learn, willing to put in the hours. And they took me on to shadow them and be an assistant for a year. And I learned a lot from that experience. And from there, I branched on. But if I never asked, if I just said, oh, one day I'll just, I'll take up wedding photography. One day doesn't happen. You have to put it on your schedule. You have to go ahead and ask and be ready to accept that they might say no.
You also got to give yourself a project, because if you do all that but you don't have anything to work on, like a couple of things, like I volunteered myself to put on like a recap video of something, and that forced me to learn how to edit videos and what shots to get, or, you know, just kind of thinking out of the box. And if I didn't have that opportunity, I don't think I would have ever started trying or attempting. But I don't know.
I've done that with jobs too. I'm like, you need what video? Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. So after I said I could do it, I go research heavily. I'm like, oh crap!
Yep.
How do I do a recap video of a music festival?
Yeah.
Oh crap! How do I do a video to like showcase a restaurant with the owner speaking? I'm like, an interview? I have to shoot an interview? But yeah, if you have to direct yourself in a certain way, because if you're just gonna look up how to make videos online, you're never gonna get anywhere.
Oh yeah.
You need to get specific, because you can only process so much at the same time.
Yeah.
But I think why that's effective is because when you research something, that was for a purpose, and you could practice it right away.
Exactly.
Sometimes a lot of people, there's like this phenomenon where people try to just maximize their lives. It's like productivity hacks. So they'll just spend like 3 hours just watching and reading productivity hacks, and they get this high of just, oh, I watched productivity hacks. My life is gonna be so much more productive now, and then they end up not doing anything. But they watch a whole bunch of videos.
It sounds like me, but I actually apply a couple of them, and
yeah,
it's
but
crazy.
It's the ones you apply that make the most impact.
Exactly.
But sometimes we get so caught up in just like researching, especially as engineers, dude. Like sometimes I just get really deep. I just want to learn about everything. But for what? Like, what purpose is these extra hours in this subject doing for me? Am I trying to be an expert in knowing about it, or an expert in doing it? And I think that doing it is what millennials miss out on. They just want to read something and just internalize it. No, you have to go through the whole thing. You have to have patience, put in your hours, and then it will materialize after you do the work.
Yeah.
That's crazy that you've been able to like integrate it into your work day, because for me, well, I think for most engineers, like we have to put our hours toward a project, or they get billed out. So it's hard for me to justify doing the creative stuff for my company, because there is someone full time there doing like photo and video. And for my company, our team is so small that I have to be very careful about where I spend my time. But I have asked at my last company, hey, can I do drone videos? I need this though. I need the license fee, and I need some courses to be able to pass the test, to be able to do the drone photography for not necessarily survey, but more just to document project as it goes through its lifespan. So after I asked, I kind of created this proposal, like, this is what it's going to cost, this is when I'm going to get it done, and this is how it can serve the company and how we can benefit. And this is how much it would cost if you hired it out. And after they saw it, they just thought it through, and they're like, yeah, we'll pay for you to get the course, get the license. So before this podcast, we were talking about how you had some kind of video made for you because you won an award.
Yeah.
I want to hear how your interest in video and marketing kind of like fell into play and interacted with that situation.
So, I mean, I've always had an interest in video editing, and a lot of the way things are made. So when this project needed to get done and they brought somebody in, I knew that I could do it myself, but I wanted them to kind of bring somebody in to do it professionally. And kind of the reason why I wanted that is because I've never seen somebody do that up close. I wanted to learn how to shoot an interview, how to do, where to put lighting, different areas you can put lighting. Like there's places that they put lighting that I never would have thought of in my life. I would think straight on your face, but you don't do that. So recognizing that, it's an expensive job to get done, but seeing that you can gain a lot of important skills or tidbits that you can take and apply to your own, so that in the long run you don't have to kind of acquire those expenses again. So, I mean, that's kind of like my approach, and what I really liked about being able to be a part of that, and even to being at like my friend's wedding. As a groomsman, I'm supposed to be. I have certain duties, You gotta be in certain places for pictures and everything, but they can never find me because I was watching the videographer and what shots he was getting, and and commenting on how all the different kind of angles he was getting, and it's so interesting to me because what got me into interest in video, I haven't really told a lot of people about this, but it was actually wedding videos. Back when YouTube first started. I was very interested in like how those videos made people feel and how they made me feel, and I was like, oh, that's crazy that a video can do that. So being at a wedding and seeing what they're doing, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. I was like, oh, making videos for weddings would be really fun.
Yeah.
But
Did you feel starstruck, like seeing a famous person for the first time because you saw like something you wanted to do happen in front of you?
yeah, not starstruck, just excited.
Yeah.
Like I was like, wow, this. I mean, it looks hard and it looks so like advanced, but like it looks so like it was so much fun, and I just wanted to like. There's times where like I want to just take the camera out of their hands and like try, like let me try, you know? let me do,
Yeah.
you know. But you can't do that. But you know, it's I don't know. It's I love anything creative, like whether it's graphic design, whether it's videos, whether it's music, and you know, I don't know, just whatever it is that's creative. It feeds my that part of my brain that keeps me going, keeps me in a sense of like a. I don't know how you say.
Keeps
like,
you balanced?
Yeah, like balance. Exactly. Because like crunching numbers or answering emails, like being an engineer, you're thinking a lot more than you realize.
Yeah.
And like
very critical decision making, nonstop.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reward to being an engineer. We have impact on the world. We keep people safe. People interact with the things we work on every single day. But if you're only to do that and you define yourself only as an engineer, and then you like turned it off at the end of the day, and you kind of had to like what a lot of people do is they just go home and decompress.
Yeah.
If that was just your life, just work hard to the extent of being totally exhausted and decompress and repeat. There's not much balance there.
I agree.
So you started getting experience in just like the Photoshop and the drafting and a little bit of stuff with MySpace and social media, and it kind of carried through, and that it never really fell off. And I know that there's a lot of careers that are possible now in those fields, but I think for me and maybe also for you that we still focus on the engineering, but it's nice to still pull these things in, monetary or not. Just keep it in our lives, keep us balanced. Yeah. Because I don't think people should be defined as just any one thing. Because that's really dangerous. If you define yourself as just one thing and that's all you do, and let's say something happens and you can't do that anymore. I go back to, I think, it wasn't Sherlock Holmes, it was one of the Marvel movies where he was Doctor Strange.
That was the only one I haven't seen.
Oh my God. I won't spoil it for you. He defined himself as something, but then some kind of accident happened, he couldn't do that anymore. Yeah. That's all it is. So if you define yourself as one thing, for me, early in my career, I defined myself as just an engineer. All I was going to do is engineering. And I like put aside my photography pretty much on the back burner. I focused only on engineering. And then I got fired from my job, and I was like, what now? And it was in that experience that I realized that, hey, I can't put all my eggs in one basket, right? I can't live my life. I'm only an engineer. If I'm not an engineer, I'm nothing. It's a very dangerous mindset. So I think that it's cool that we got those experiences of doing the creative stuff when we were young and throughout our careers. We shouldn't let go of that. It's really important to keep that. And these interests and these passions, especially seeing how you lit up when we talked about like wedding video, you should never like forget those things. You may prioritize different things at different times of your life, but it's really important to stay balanced and keep your interests. Put your hands in different things. Just explore and live your life instead of just working on one thing and just waiting for retirement or waiting for the weekend. Yeah. Make everything interesting.
You know, there's actually a quote, and you know I like my quotes, but I heard it from Jim Carrey, and he said that you can fail at doing something you don't love, so you might as well take a chance on doing something you do love. Yeah. And I think that represents everything we're talking about, like just trying it, you know, and recognizing that even though you might feel safe, you're not always as safe as you really are. Yeah. So definitely take a chance on doing, like, you know, things that make you feel good. So
that's good, man. I guess that'll wrap it up. Thank you for coming on the show. That was amazing talk. It was so cool to learn about the things that led you to where you are today and your different experiences and how you were interested in wedding video, because I did that for a little bit. Yeah. And I didn't know you were interested in wedding video either. Like, it's not something that most people just pick up as an interest. Yeah. It's a very niche thing, but it's good to be multifaceted, three-dimensional, and just be human beings. Don't just be, I am a blank. Yeah. be whoever you want to be. Do whatever you want to do. Try different things and just live your life and be happy.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me here. I know you've been asking me to be on this for a while.
So
if it's finally I can be in Cali and do this with you. So appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Definitely.
All right. That's it.
We're done.
Yep.